Good day, everyone. Today, I would like to explain what happens when a ship faces a fire situation. The response procedures and responsible parties depend on whether the incident occurs within Penang port limits or outside Penang port limits. A fire on board is one of the most serious emergencies at sea and requires quick, coordinated action between the captain, crew, and several authorities. A fire at sea is one of the most critical emergencies that can occur on a vessel, often escalating within minutes if not managed swiftly and systematically. The response procedures and legal obligations in a ship fire situation are governed by several layers of maritime law, beginning with international conventions, followed by national Malaysian legislation, Malaysia shipping notices, and specific provisions under the Merchant Shipping Ordinance 1952, MSO 1952. These frameworks collectively ensure that every officer and crew member understands their duties in handling onboard fires to protect life, property, and the marine environment. First, Chapter 2.2 of the SOLAS Convention focuses on fire protection, fire detection, and fire extinction, which are crucial when a ship catches fire. These regulations ensure that all ships are built and operated with strong fire safety measures, such as dividing the ship into sections with thermal and structural boundaries to prevent the spread of fire, using non-combustible materials, and installing reliable fire detection and extinguishing systems. In the event of a fire, these principles help contain the blaze to its area of origin and protect escape routes for crew and passengers. Additionally, Regulation 19 on emergency training and drills requires all crew members to undergo regular fire and emergency drills so they can respond quickly and effectively during a real fire situation. Together, these measures greatly reduce the risk of casualties and ship loss by ensuring preparedness and effective fire control procedures at sea. In accordance with these international principles, Malaysia enforces similar safety obligations through the Merchant Shipping Ordinance, MSO 1952, administered by the Marine Department of Malaysia under the Ministry of Transport. The MSO 1952 provides the national legal framework for vessel safety, operation, and emergency management. Under Part 5, Safety of Life and Ship, the shipmaster bears full legal responsibility for the protection of life, property, and the environment. In the event of a fire, the master must act immediately to control the situation, safeguard the crew, and prevent pollution. The law also requires ship owners to ensure that all firefighting equipment and systems are properly maintained and that the crew are trained to handle such emergencies effectively. A key statutory requirement under Section 306J of the MSO 1952 specifies the reporting of maritime casualties. If a ship in Malaysian waters experiences a fire, explosion, or any maritime casualty, or discharges oil or other harmful substances, the master must promptly report it to the relevant authority. If within port limits, the report must be submitted to the port officer within 24 hours or as soon as possible. If outside port limits, it must be reported directly to the Director of Marine. Non-compliance constitutes an offense with penalties up to Rm 10,000. This ensures timely communication and accountability in the handling of maritime incidents. Furthermore, Section 110 of the MSO 1952 reinforces the importance of proper documentation by mandating that every Malaysian ship maintain an official logbook. The master must record all required information as determined by the Director of Marine, including the occurrence of any fire, the actions taken, and the coordination with relevant authorities. Failure to maintain this log constitutes an offense punishable by a fine of up to Rm 25,000, while any person who deliberately destroys, mutilates, or falsifies an entry faces penalties up to Rm 50,000 or 3 years imprisonment. This provision ensures that all maritime incidents, including fires, are accurately documented for investigation, transparency, and compliance with international standards. To support implementation, Malaysia Shipping Notices, MSN, are issued by the Marine Department to provide technical guidance on fire prevention, reporting procedures, and equipment requirements. These notices, aligned with SOLAS and MSO provisions, stipulate that ships must carry an International Shore Connection, ISC, to enable water supply from shore-based firefighting systems when berthed in ports. This administrative tool ensures consistency between international standards and domestic enforcement. In practice, when a vessel catches fire within the Penang port limits, the captain must immediately activate the ship's emergency fire response system, isolate the affected area, and notify the Penang Port Marine Operation Control Center through the Vessel Traffic Management System, VTMS. Penang Port SDN, PPSB, deploys firefighting tugboats, while the Fire and Rescue Department of Malaysia provides onshore firefighting support, especially at terminals such as the North Butterworth Container Terminal. If the cargo is hazardous, the Department of Environment, DOE, and Royal Malaysian Customs Department, RMCD, assist in pollution control and cargo handling. If the fire occurs outside the Penang port limits, the Malaysia Maritime Enforcement Agency, MMEA, becomes the lead coordinator, managing offshore firefighting, search and rescue, and traffic safety. The Marine Department of Malaysia provides technical support and additional firefighting assets. The captain, however, remains in command of onboard operations, damage control, and communication with nearby vessels. For injuries or potential evacuations, the Ministry of Health, MOH, and Immigration Department are activated to manage medical response and crew documentation. Now, let's look at some examples. Globally, ship fire incidents continue to pose major threats to maritime safety. According to the World Ports Organization, 2024, there were 165 ship fire incidents worldwide, marking a 27% increase over the previous year, the highest in a decade. Similarly, the Allianz Safety Report 2023 recorded over 200 fire incidents in 2022, identifying fire as the second leading cause of ship losses and the most expensive category of marine insurance claims, accounting for 18% of total claim values. These findings highlight the ongoing need for compliance, preventive maintenance, and effective emergency coordination. Now we turn to the ship layout. The ship layout reflects compliance with SOLAS Chapter 2.2 requirements. Under SOLAS, all ships must be equipped with clearly marked fire stations, fire pumps, and emergency firefighting systems. The fire station is usually located on the upper decks or A deck to allow fast crew access. The emergency fire pump is positioned in the pump room near the bottom of the ship so it can draw seawater even if the main power supply fails. The diesel fuel tank and bow thruster are also shown, highlighting areas with higher fire risk where proper insulation and monitoring are critical. This arrangement ensures that the vessel meets SOLAS standards for fire safety, containment, and crew preparedness. It minimizes potential damage and ensures crew safety during emergencies. In summary, the management of a ship fire situation is supported by strong and coordinated international and national maritime regulations, beginning with SOLAS at the global level, followed by MSO 1952 and Malaysia shipping notices at the domestic level. Together, these instruments ensure that all fire incidents are handled with precision, reported accurately in the official logbook, and investigated under proper authority. Through strict enforcement and coordinated response, Malaysia aligns its maritime practices with international standards to protect lives, ships, and the marine environment.
Thank you for watching this video, and see you soon.